When you think about the lat pull down, you probably think about the wide grip, overhand, wide handle lat pull down, but that is not the only way that you can do this move. There's also something called a close grip lat pull down, and this is actually one of my favorite variations of the lat pull down because in a lot of ways it's going to create a more natural feeling at the shoulder joint, and it's going to give us a little bit more range on that pull too. So it's one of the best ways to me to do the lat pull down. Now we're still going to wind up hitting the same muscles in general, and that you're going to get a lot of your lats, you're going to get your mid-back muscles, you're going to get your rhomboids, and we're going to get a lot of those scapular stabilizing muscles in addition to some underrated ab work and some underrated grip work that you're going to get out of this too. But with the close grip lat pull down, we're going to wind up in a lot safer of a shoulder position. So when we're in a standard overhead lat pull down, sometimes we can wind up in a little bit of internal rotation at the shoulder joint. We have to work to get into external rotation. That becomes easier when we're doing a close grip lat pull down for two reasons, and it doesn't really matter the tool you're using. We're going to use a V-bar here that's going to put me in a neutral grip position. That's going to be really, really easy on my shoulders, and it lets me kind of drive my elbows together. That's going to put me in a really, really convenient and safe position where I'm in good shoulder external rotation. We can also do this with a standard pull down bar, and if we're going to do it that way, we're going to want to take an underhand grip, and in that position again, it gives me a really, really advantageous angle to kind of drive my elbows together and still find external rotation at the shoulder joint. So that's one of the reasons I really, really like the close grip lat pull down. The other real good benefit here is we're going to get a lot of pulling range of motion on this. So when we're with that wide lat pull down, sometimes we can run into a couple stopping points. We're just not going to have as much range of motion, but we can get a nice complete pull, even get like a good stretch at the top of the rep when we're on the close grip lat pull down, and we can pull all the way down. Think about pulling down to the middle of our chest. So we get a lot of range of motion, we get a really, really comfortable shoulder feel, and we're still going to hit all the muscle groups that we want. This is a great lat pull down for any population, especially if you want to build mid-back muscle. And mid-back muscle from an aesthetic standpoint is really, really underrated. We definitely want to get wider with our lats, and that's why a lot of people go to the traditional wide grip lat pull down. But if you can build strong mid-back muscle, if you can build up the rhomboids, the muscles between your shoulder blades, one, you're really going to protect your shoulder joint in the long term, and two, it gives you a really good visual thick back, and that's going to give you a really, really nice aesthetic. So how do we execute the close grip lat pull down? In general, it's going to be very, very similar to how we would do any lat pull down. The rules still apply. We're just going to get to do a couple different things, and we want to think a little bit more about our torso angle. When we get started with our setup, first thing we want to do is just get into a nice, comfortable position. I don't think you need to overthink how high or low the seat is. Don't put too much thinking into that. In general, lower is always going to be a little bit better, because what you don't want to do is have your legs rising up and have the machine pulling you back up. So lower is always a little bit better if you're not sure, but don't overthink it, just find a comfortable spot. Next, let's talk about our grip, because this is something underrated that we don't put enough thought into, but if we set a good foundation for the grip when we learn to move, and two for every set, it's going to help us as we get heavier on this. So I don't just want you to kind of put your hands around and think about lazily grabbing the bar. What I want you to do is get your palm above the bar, and from there you can pull down. That's going to give you a lot more gripping power in the long term. So get the palm above the bar. I'm thinking about my knuckles almost facing each other. And then from there I can pull down. That's going to give me a stronger grip on the bar, and that's going to matter once I can really, really push some load on this, because I'm going to have that strong grip. It's also going to help my grip last longer, so I can get more out of every set. Final step we want to think about in terms of grip is we're going to think about driving our elbows forward and into each other. I'm thinking about getting my forearm perpendicular to the ground and keeping it there as I pull down. Now this is going to work your forearms a little bit, and there is a school of thought that we want to grip as light as possible so that our lats are going to work. What I'm going to tell you is counter to that. Let's just grip the heck out of this thing, take the forearm work, and we're going to be able to go heavier than with our load overall. We're still going to get a lot of lat work, and we're still going to get a lot of mid-back work out of that, because we're just going to be moving loads. So let's grip the heck out of it with a strong grip that we can use so we can go heavier. Now I'm just going to pull myself down into my starting position, plant my feet From here, I want to think about one thing that I think is missed on all pull downs that we want to think about, and that is tightening up our abs. It's really convenient to be lazy and not think about what our core is doing. It's going to drive us to arch our back. We want to think of the top position of any lat pull down. We want to think of this as an idea of anti-extension. Our abs are supposed to, when they're tight, prevent us from arching our back, and we want to think about keeping our abs on here. This becomes a little bit of an ab workout. Once we're in this position, we're going to lean back just a little bit. Think about finding like a nice, comfortable position. Then I want you to think about squeezing your shoulder blades together and trying to drive your shoulder blades down. We want to create that good shoulder blade tightness. That creates a lot of room for us to work as we're doing this pull down. From there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my elbows down. I'm thinking about pulling this bar down to the top of my chest. I want to pause on every single rep, get a good squeeze through my mid back, and then drive up. As I'm driving up, again, I'm thinking about keeping my elbows close to each other, and then I'm also thinking about keeping my abs tight, because every single time I return this bar to the top, I'm essentially thinking about being in a vertical plank. I want that kind of tension through my abs. I get a good pause on the bottom of every rep, and I think about squeezing my shoulder blades. That's gonna give me a lot of good lat work. My mid back winds up working. Those rhomboids wind up working. I get a whole ton of really good back work every single rep. So that is your close grip lat pull down. And again, what we get to do different here than we get on the standard lat pull down is, instead of getting that wide pull, it's going to limit our range of motion, we get that nice long pull. We get that good stretch while keeping our abs tight, and then we get to pull down and get that really good squeeze. It's a very, very natural position, a very comfortable position for your shoulders, and a very comfortable position to get a really good back squeeze. This is a great move for anybody, and it can fit into your workout in a variety of different ways. If you're going to do this, think of it as a replacement for whatever vertical pull motion you have in your upper body workout or in your pulling workout. So in general, we think of vertical pulling motions as our pull-ups, our pull-downs, and then we've got our horizontal pulling motions like the row. I like to think about getting a row in first. That's going to help establish and help you feel that good shoulder blade squeeze. And then after that, after you've done that in your workout, then you can come to your vertical pulling motion, and we can make this our chief vertical pulling motion in our workouts. You have a wide variety of ranges that you can use in terms of reps here. We can go anywhere from, say, the 6 to 8 rep range, where we're focusing on going heavy, focusing on being powerful, really getting that good anti-extension on every single rep, or we can go much, much higher volume. You can take this into the 12 to 15 rep range, even higher than that if you want, go a little bit lighter, focus on piling up reps for 3 to 4 sets. Either way, this is a great way to get that vertical pulling idea into your workouts. You're going to get a really, really good feeling through your lats. It's a really great mid-back builder, and again, a ton of underrated ab work. So find a way to get the close grip lat pull down into your workouts. Your back will be stronger for it, your shoulders will feel great, and you're going to build a ton of muscle along the way.